You have made me, amen, a name that people recognize. If you never have elevated my name and just wrote it in the Lamb Book of Life, that is enough to praise you for. But sometimes people got to have their name up in lights before they can give God some praise. David said, before I ever had my name put in the place of a king, I was praising you in the wilderness. When I didn't have an audience, when there was no one there to see me, I praise you anyway. Amen. Can I preach today? When there was no one to tell me to go ahead on, nobody said, well, go ahead on and give him some praise. David said, I praise you out in the wilderness, in the mountains, and out there with the sheep all by myself. So this praise that I'm giving you is not because I have a fine robe on now and a crown on my head. That's not why I'm praising you. He says, I'm not praising you because I'm sitting on the throne. But David is saying, I'm praising you, God, because you brought me out of a world of turmoil and you gave me hope when there was no hope. And if I never ride on another high horse, you're still worthy of praise. If I've never put on, if I've never adorned another fine robe, I'm going to praise you just the same. David knew that God had been good to him. And so David says, well, now I got to sound the alarm. I got to tell others about the goodness of God. Can I preach for a few minutes? He says, I will bow down toward your holy temple and I will praise your name for your love and for your faithfulness. Oh, no wonder David had praise that was unending, because he recognized that God's love was unending to him. He recognized that God's faithfulness had not come to an end, but God had been there when no one else was there. When he was all by himself one time, standing in a place called Ziklag. Can I preach a few minutes? David, what are you crying about? Well, I've got some trouble here because I led the people out and we went into battle. And when we went out, we conquered the enemy. But while we were conquering him, someone came from behind and stole all of our goods and took our families away. And so we conquered. We had victory on one hand, but defeat on the other. Can I preach a few minutes? What do you do when you have victory on one hand and trouble on the other hand? Is it time to stop praising God and back up and say, well, God, you blessed me on this hand, but on this hand you didn't hold me up. David said, in the midst of all of that, I've still got to give you praise. Even though I lost on the right hand, amen, I won on the right hand, but on the left hand, the devil stole something from me. Have the devil ever stole something from you? Come on, y'all, come on and help me in here. Have the enemy ever stolen anything from you? You got victory over here. And while you were shouting over here, he stole something. And when you turn around, he had taken what you had in security. And the devil said, now shout. David said, wait a minute. The folk got against him and said, I want to see you shout now. The folk got mad with David. They were shouting coming back from the victory. But when they got to the camp and all this stuff was gone, they stopped shouting and picked up stones and said, we're going to stone you for taking us out there. family was in there too. It wasn't like David's family was still at home. His wife and his kids were gone as well. But how in the world can you turn on him now and want to stone him because his family, he got a loss just like you? But what I want you to know is David stepped back and said, wait a minute, I can't let this stop me from praising God. He was in Ziklag. Have any of you ever been in Ziklag where you didn't know what was the outcome? I don't know if y'all gonna help me in here. Living in Ziklag, praising God on one hand and crying on the other, praising God for joy and got trouble on the other side, praising God for victory and the devil trying to steal your joy, praising God because he brought you and the devil trying to take it out. You got to make up in your mind. You got to step back and tell the devil, if I can't find nobody to inherit me, I'll pat my own self on the back. Tell your neighbor, pat your own self on the back. It won't nobody else pat you on the back. Pat your own back. Come on and shout glory. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. Come on and clap your hands and shout glory. Living in Ziklag. You got to tell your friends, I may be in Ziklag. I got victory over here and trouble over there and a decision in the middle. What are you going to do? Can I get some help in here? Trouble on this side. I got victory over here. My arms are full. I just walked in with victory and I walk into a situation where the devil done stuck out the back door with all my stuff. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. You walk in happy and the devil have left you a note in your house. I've been here. I rip you off. What are you gonna do now? Do you still have joy? Can you still praise him? Can you still shout? Can you still lift him up? Can you still get happy? Can you still run me out? What are you gonna do? You read the note. You put the note down. You straighten up your clothes. You look up toward heaven and say, Lord, you've been good. You've been good. And I'm gonna praise you. Yeah. David said, I'm going to give you some heartfelt praise. I got trouble on this side, but I'm just going to praise you. Things ain't looking well, but I'm going to praise you. I got a bad report in the mail, but I'm going to praise you. Folk ain't on my side,